Victoria was a wife and mother of two when her husband decided to abandon her. Months later, she started dating someone and became pregnant.
He left when my youngest was 9 months old. So whenever they were very young, about 6 to 8 months later, I met someone through work and we started dating. And 6 months into the relationship, I found out I was pregnant. So my first reaction was, oh my gosh, I can't wait to tell him. And then when I told him, he didn't give me the reaction I thought he would. It was, we can't have kids right now, you already have 2, we're not even married yet. And so I was kind of shocked and told him, well, but we are gonna get married, right? And he said, well, yeah, we are one day, but not right now. And I think the last thing we need is another child. It's hard enough being a single mom, and now I'm gonna have 3, and I wasn't married. I thought this guy loved me, and now he's telling me we really shouldn't have a baby right now. So I made the decision based on what he was telling me, and also the struggles I'd already had as a single mom. So I made the appointment, looked in the phone book. I did not tell anybody, my friends, my family, nobody, not even my sister who was my best friend. I didn't tell anybody. I just made the appointment, went to the clinic and sat in the room with the woman who basically told me, you're 6 weeks pregnant, so your baby's not really, she never said baby. This is not even a baby. Or she said it's a blob of tissue, a bunch of cells, you're so early, you're so young, you can have more kids later, this is the last thing you need to do, now give me your money. And I remember asking her, are you sure that this is okay, what I'm about to do? Being a mom of 2 children, I knew what happens with a pregnancy. The outcome is a baby. I already had 2 children. So when she looked at me and said, hey, our government has legalized it, so of course it's okay for you to do it. Just leave here and never think of it again. Just forget about it. Well, that was the greatest lie of all. After the abortion was over, and I asked the doctor if he could tell me what my child was, he got angry with me and just threw his hands up and said, oh my gosh, you're too early to tell, and walked out of the room. And then they said, we're gonna put you in this next room for your recovery, and then you can stay for about 30 minutes before you leave. I lasted maybe 5. They took me in the next, I just had to get out of there. There was wailing throughout that whole place. I mean, all you could hear were women crying. It was terrible. From that point on, I felt like anybody who looked at me was going to see murder across my forehead, and they'd know what I did. So from that moment, my life was never the same. I just kept imagining every day I'd be another day pregnant. I'd imagine how many weeks I'd be now and what the baby would look like now. And I just kept imagining what he or she would have looked like, and will I ever get over this? Yes, I'll get over it. She told me at the abortion clinic, you'll get over it, you'll be fine, you're young, you'll have more kids later. And I immediately started thinking about, when can I have another baby? And that's what a lot of women do. They'll want to get pregnant right away because they want to replace the child they lost. I didn't feel like I deserved anything good. Nothing. Not a good marriage, not a good relationship. I thought, okay, your life is done.
Victoria lived with tremendous guilt and shame until she found healing in Jesus Christ.
Then when I found healing through the Pregnancy Center's post-abortion counseling, I said, I don't care who knows now. My healing has taken place, and it's come to fruition that if you have an issue with it, take it up with God, because He's forgiven me, He has reconciled me to His Son, and I'm good. I'm all good. So it took 13 years. When I finally realized that my identity needed to be in who Christ is and who God thinks, what He thinks of me, that's when my life changed. And so it didn't, and then I realized that my sin was no different than someone else's sin. And it was revelation for me, and then I was free. I couldn't even look in the mirror alone in my bathroom and say, you had an abortion. I couldn't even bring the words out of my mouth when I was alone because of how ashamed I was. Now I'm speaking all across the country talking to people about having an abortion and what I went through, because I've been healed and redeemed. And so His word and His love for me is what changed me. It changed everything. When I start feeling sorry for myself or having a pity party, I remember that girl, that girl 28 years ago, who was convinced her life would never have meaning. And I go today, look at my life today and just say, only God could have done it. It has not been in my own strength. It has been all Him. And there have been times people say, you give Him credit for everything? Yep. Every single thing, even a good parking space at the mall, whatever it is, I say thank you to Him, because it's all Him. If you're hopeless and you think that your life is over because of an abortion or any kind of tragedy or something you've done in your life, I can tell you that I'm a living testimony that that's the greatest lie the enemy will ever feed you. God is never done with us. He has so much for us. We were not born to just breathe and take up space. He has a purpose for every single one of us. He doesn't make mistakes no matter what maybe a parent has told you. He has a purpose for each and every one of us. It's your job to find it out. But I can tell you without question and with pure conviction that our God loves us so much that He sent His Son to die on a cross for us, that He would do anything for us. He knows the desires of your heart. He knew the desires of mine. And with God, all things are possible. So whatever the enemy has taken for evil in your life, God will turn it into good, guaranteed.